Hi, I'm Rob Bernstein,
And I'm Marcia.
and it's been a while since we've done this, but we
Sure.
have a good reason for it.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a flannel shirt because after open heart surgery, my chest really itched, so now you know, it's been a long haul.
Yeah, and part of what we're actually talking about, in addition to talking about Rob, is how sometimes the unexpected hits us right smack in the face out of the blue. And that's what happened to Rob. He had absolutely no symptoms whatsoever, and suddenly an x-ray, and he needed open heart surgery.
Yeah, and it was a real, I never said this before, but it was a psychological journey. It went from that I might die, even though I probably wouldn't die, I knew that, but I filled out a will for the first time. But the recovery process was interesting because now I literally could not do anything except some minimal exercise and rest for weeks or even months. And I had to start from zero. So it was an existential experience. All the things that I had to do or have to do, I'm starting.
Yeah.
It was a really.
Yeah, Rob was always 5 plates in the air at the same time, juggling all kinds of things, busy, and all of a sudden it was like. And the question is, when we face a change like that, and for I think those of us who are neurodivergent, it's especially hard to deal with change, is how do you get through it? How do you manage such an abrupt and total change in life to to kind of keep yourself sane, really, and keep going?
And so many things come to mind, but one, when people wish you luck, right? You have that before the surgery. And there were maybe 2 or 3 people kept on asking me, hey, how I'm doing afterwards. And, and that, it really means a lot. It's almost as if the analogy is if a loved one dies and everyone comes to the funeral, 3 months later, nobody's, saying, hey, how you doing? People, move on. And you really appreciate those 2 or 3 people who, hey, how are you doing? How are you doing? How are you doing?
Right, but I think what's important is that at first you weren't going to reach out to people and tell them what was going on, that, you're very private. And I kept encouraging him that he had friends out there and that we want to be there for each other. We may not have the perfect thing to say, we may not know exactly what to do, but just being there for someone is so important. And it wasn't so much what somebody said as the fact that they were there and they cared, and then they kept showing up to care. They didn't really have to have a long conversation. It was just the showing up that mattered.
Right, so you have this change that you need to survive with, I was going to say adjust, but it's really a survival kind of thing. And then you have a support of others, which is so important.
Another thing I think that was also a big piece of it is that there's a tendency to kind of ruminate about what's going to happen. How am I going to come out of this? What does this mean? What is it? And to really try to pull back to right now, not what I'm afraid might happen, but where am I right now today? How am I today? What's going on? Really made a difference.
It's so important because if you can't attend to what's today, you're not going to heal. And worrying works against your body and your heart. So you have to kind of let things go and just do what you need to do for yourself for the day, for the moment. And be a healthy mind and spirit and feel who you are.
And who you are for real. I mean, there were times when maybe you didn't want to feel the way you felt, or you wanted to kind of push through or something like that. And being in touch with your body and being really observant of yourself was absolutely critical to know, when was I getting to the burnout phase? When was I pushing myself too hard? And it became obvious you'd sit down and fall asleep when you push yourself too hard.
Well, you just reminded me of something that I know is common among the neurodiverse population, is interoception and understanding your feelings. And I've never been really good with that. I told my nutritionist today, I know somebody who knows I need salt. Like, how do you know when you need salt? I mean, how do you feel your body? How you know your body so well? So I did learn one thing about my body, and that is I understand when I'm stressed now, what the feeling is, how it feels being stressed. And I had to learn that. I really had to learn that through this experience. And so when I feel that stress, then I could, recognizing it, I could do something about it, and that's really important.
Yeah, and what you just did is one of the things you learned to do about it, and what they keep telling you in cardio rehab, which is breathe. And it sounds really simple, but even a very simple breathing technique like breathe in slowly, hold it, and breathe out slowly, breathe in slowly, hold it, and breathe out slowly, even for just like a few minutes, can make a big difference.
Yeah, you could actually control your blood pressure and your heart rate. So why don't we stop here and maybe continue this line of thinking and being another time?
Yeah, but we're really glad to say, number one, that we're back, that we had an opportunity to share something pretty personal with you, and that we're going to be thinking and looking for you guys, and back in the battle, back in the seat.
Back in the saddle.
Back in the saddle. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.